So first, let's define learning. Here's what most people think it means. Most people think learning means just obtaining new information. And not quite. So what learning actually means is when a change in behavior has occurred. So when you're doing a particular input and then you change it and you start doing a different input, this is when behavior has changed. If you are reading a book, if you are listening to a podcast, or if you watch a video, yes, you can get new information. But if your behavior has not changed, then learning has not occurred. Learning only occurs when your behavior has changed. Okay, and we can just substitute the word behavior for input just to make things simple. So there's also another common misunderstanding about learning, and maybe you will recognize this in yourself or someone you know. So here we've got Bob, and Bob says, I want to achieve output X. So Bob wants to achieve a very specific type of result, okay? And he says, I am doing input 1, so he's doing a certain set of behaviors, but it's not working and it's not achieving output, the output that I want, right? So he says, okay, I'm going to change input 1 to something else. So far, so good. Makes complete sense, because if you're doing something with the intent of achieving a certain result, and that something that you're doing is not working, if you don't change it, you're just going to keep getting the same result, right? So you have to change something that you're doing in order to try to change the result. Okay, so far, Bob is on the right track. So I have stopped doing input 1, and I've started doing input 2. Okay, so he's doing something different now. Even though I changed from input 1 to input 2, it's still not giving me my desired output. So he's still not getting his result that he wants. So this means I wasted my time. I didn't learn because my result didn't change. Angry face. And this also is flawed thinking, because learning has occurred, right? He changed his behavior. He went from input 1 to input 2. Like, learning definitely has occurred. This is a win, right? The fact that his result didn't change, it's not actually that relevant. The only thing that really truly matters is if learning has occurred or not, right? This part doesn't matter that much. And I want to share my favorite analogy with you to really help understand this concept, why this doesn't actually matter, and why it's this, the learning part, that really matters, the behavior change, okay? And it's called the red card game. So no, I didn't make this up. This actually comes from Alex Hormozi, or this is where I heard it from, so shout out to him. So we've got me and we've got you. I show you a red card, and then I wait 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then I slap you. So I come up to you and I slap your face. And you say, ouch, right? Then I show you a red card again, and I wait 3 seconds again. So 3, 2, 1, and then I slap you again. So I come up to you, I slap you, you say, ouch, sad face. So by now you may have gotten the insight, well, at least I hope you've gotten the insight, that if Spicy shows a red card, he will probably slap me after 3 seconds. Okay, so learning has not occurred yet, but an insight was gained. Okay, an insight is an idea that can potentially lead to behavior change or learning. So another word for insight that you might recognize is you got an aha moment, or you got a realization. And since you want to avoid being slapped, because being slapped is no fun, you decide to change your input. So the previous input is do nothing, and your new input is when the slap comes, try to dodge it by moving towards the right. So let's see how it turns out. So I show the red card, 3, 2, 1. I will try to dodge the slap by moving to the right. So what happens is, you move to the right, I come up to you, I slap you, and what ends up happening is it ends up hurting even more than before, because like you moved into my slap, right? So my hand connected with your face at a faster speed. So behavior has changed, cool, which means that learning has occurred, cool, but the output was even worse than before. And in the moment, this can feel really demotivating. It can feel like time and effort were wasted on trying to change behavior. But the thing to remember is that even worse outcomes can still give you new insights. So if we do a quick little inventory check of our insights, the first insight is if I show you a red card, I'm going to slap you after 3 seconds. The second insight is if you try to dodge to the right, my slap connects with you faster and it hurts even more, right? So new insights can potentially lead to another behavior change in the form of you get this insight and then maybe it leads to another idea, and it might look something like this. So you might think, if I get an even worse outcome by dodging to the right, I wonder what would happen if I dodged to the left instead, right? Because if you went to the right, you got an even worse outcome. So you're thinking, okay, well, what if I did the opposite? So the previous input is when the slap comes, try to dodge to the right. Your new input is when the slap comes, try to dodge to the left. So I show you the red card. 3, 2, 1. You say, okay, I'm going to try to dodge by moving to the left. So I come in for the slap. You move to the left. Successful dodge. You did it. So here are the important points to remember from this red card game. So after you do a new input, 3 things can happen. So you can get a worse result, a worse output, a similar output, or a better output. But the thing is that it doesn't matter whether the result was worse, better, or the same. All of them lead to a new type of insight. Okay, and you can use those new insights to try to come up with with yet another new input to try to eventually get about a better output. Okay, so the harsh reality, though, and you have to accept this, is that most new inputs that you try probably will not lead to better outputs, because if we just look at it, right, we've got 2 on the left and we've only got 1 on the right. So we only have one thing which can give us a better output, and we have 2 things which can give us either a worse one or a similar one. So it makes sense that most of our inputs will not be giving us better results. And it's like playing a video game. So after you collect enough insights, you level up and your output improves, right? So we've got level 1 and then we've got level 2. And I'm going to define level 2 as when your output finally improves, right? So there are 5 insights required to level up. You try the first input, it doesn't work, but you get an insight. And that insight leads to trying something else, and that also doesn't work. So you try another thing, and it doesn't work, and that leads to another idea. I wonder if I should try this other thing. Maybe that other thing will work. Nope, it didn't work. So you're at 4 insights now. And then finally, when you try the 5th thing, it finally works, and you've leveled up. So the important thing here is that learning occurred at each of the 4 stages prior to the level up. Learning did not occur only at the level up, right? There were four moments where learning occurred, okay? So the goal should be to collect as many of these insights or experience points as possible. So changing behavior but not getting your desired result is still a win. Okay, it's still a win. It should still be celebrated, and that's the main thing to really focus on, okay? Because look, if we have 3 traders, okay, we've got the first one, not profitable, second one makes $1,000 a month, third one makes $9,000 a month, so we've got the highest skill trader. This is who we're going to be talking about. This guy, the difference between him and the other 2 guys is that he just has more behavior changes that he's done compared to the other 2 guys. And he's probably collected way more insights than the other 2 guys as well. And also, he has had a lot more failed inputs than the other 2 guys. Probably a lot more. Like, a lot more. Okay? A lot. So if we were to plot your skill relative to the number of iterations, when I say iteration, I just mean how many times you have changed behavior or did a tweak in your system. It's probably going to look something like this, where it's like a staircase where it's flat for a while, and then boop, it jumps up, and then it goes flat for a while, and then it jumps up. Here is where you're going to be grinding your insights and collecting your experience points. And most of your time is going to be spent here, right? Most of the time you're in the trenches gathering insights and not getting any real tangible or real noticeable impact to your results. And then finally, when you get the last one, which pushes you to level up, you go vertical in the types of results that you get, and then you flatline again, and the process basically restarts, and you're flatlined once again, okay? So stop obsessing over results. Start obsessing about collecting a lot of insights and also doing a lot of iterations or behavior changes, since it's the iterations which are actually the thing which change your results, which get you better results, okay? So here's a quick summary before we move on to the next lesson. So learning is just behavior change or iteration. Get used to changing an input, but getting the same or worse output. This is normal, right? It's normal. You're going to try something, it's not going to work, and then you learn, like you get an insight, and then you try something else, right? It's a totally normal part of the process. All iterations will give you insights, including the ones which give you the same or even a worse output. Insights can potentially lead to behavior changes. Okay, so insights are important. And if you purely focus on increasing your total number of iterations, you will get more insights, you will find more inputs, which increase your outputs, and you will get better results over time.